Hello. Hi everyone, it's Jess here. So I have ADHD and I'm recovering fearful avoidant as well. I am a mother to a beautiful, just under 2-year-old daughter, and that's kind of why I really started to dive in and hone in on recovering my fearful avoidance so that I don't pass it down. But I did want to take this opportunity to one, test my mic out. I did receive some comments on my video. I think it was the 10 signs that you have dismissive avoidance video. There was a comment or two saying that the sound quality was basically a bit rubbish. So took it on board, bought myself a microphone so you guys can hear me a little bit better, hopefully, and also bought like a little cube light to film with. It's currently charging that, but the lighting in here is not too bad, so I didn't think it was really necessary. But the lighting should hopefully be a little bit better in the next videos as well. So what were we talking about? So while I was wanting to test out my microphone, I thought it would be a good opportunity to film a little bit of a get to know me video, because I did realise that a few of my older videos were kind of just a little bit random, and then I've jumped to posting about insecure attachment styles. Or I have been studying attachment theory for about 4 or 5 years. It's a bit of a hobby, not like a hobby, but it let's just say it was a bit of a special interest of mine, and I never ever thought I would really be sharing it with YouTube or wanting to talk about it with anyone, because fear of vulnerability and whatnot. But the more I've really started to learn about it, the more I have started to heal my insecure attachment or fearful avoidance. Now, fearful avoidance is common in childhoods or upbringings that children were involved in a lot of trauma. For me, I think the difficulty with my childhood was that I have been diagnosed with ADHD only very recently. And I'm the only one in the family that's been diagnosed, but without pretending that I'm a psychiatrist and, knowing that ADHD is genetic, I do think that there is a lot of neurodiversity within my household. Along with neurodiversity comes emotional dysregulation and OCD tendencies, quite strict kind of routines that maybe as an adult would be emotionally dysregulated by, causing children to walk on eggshells. Absolutely no hate to my parents because they are amazing. We didn't always get along, but we didn't really know what was going on. It was just tough for everybody in our household, really. And I can really offer my parents some compassion because I wasn't the easiest child to deal with either. That being said, I developed an insecure attachment style because of the difficulties that we all were facing. And neurodiversity wasn't really a well-known thing when I was a child. Neither was it. Mental health was a little bit of a taboo subject. So all that being said, I can offer my parents some compassion, and I do think that if the circumstances were different, then maybe they could have got help and were able to deal with my childhood a little bit more differently, and maybe receive support for my neurodiversity as well. Again, attachment styles can be passed down through generations. I also think that there's some insecure attachment styles within my family too, so it's really difficult for an adult to teach their child how to love properly, how to build great connections with people and have healthy conflict resolution when they haven't learned them skills or been taught them skills themselves. So this is why I'm here. This is, why I decided to take a course with the Open University, research insecure attachments for 5 years, because I do have that source of education, and I don't want to pass that down to my daughter. I want to teach her secure attachment and also teach myself secure attachment. So here we are. For anybody that doesn't really understand fearful avoidance, because it is the least common, I want to say diagnosis, but it's not really a diagnosis. Anyway, the least common insecure attachment style is the fearful avoidance, or it can be called disorganized attachment. So from very young age. Well, it's not a very young age because I wasn't in relationships at a very young age. But as soon as I started dating, when I was kind of like in secondary school, I was noticing this pattern. I found it difficult to know why it was happening, but I was picking up on patterns within myself where like I would feel quite, I would feel like I was craving relationships. And at first in relationships, I could actually come across quite like anxious, preoccupied traits or secure, to be honest. And then when I was actually faced with the opportunity of commitment, of things moving a little bit faster, then I would like, and then I would get triggered and go into my avoidance side. But if people that I cared about pulled away from me, then I would swing more anxious. And it was just really, well, disorganized, very, very difficult to deal with. I never really understood what was going on. And before I did get diagnosed with ADHD and autism, I did realise that I was exhibiting the signs of fearful avoidance. Now, insecure attachment styles, neurodiversity, trauma in childhood, they all kind of link together. There is lots of overlapping traits of ADHD and PTSD. I do think as I'm working through trauma and deciding to deal with my triggers differently, to rewire my brain and work towards a more secure attachment style, my symptoms with my ADHD are actually getting better. But I don't know whether that's because there is ADHD and PTSD there together, so it's easing off. I used to take medication for my ADHD. I don't anymore. Personal preference, but I would prefer to, hone in on knowledge is power, knowing my triggers, knowing how I can deal with the triggers a little bit better. Work towards a secure attachment style, lots of meditation, lots of exercise, mindfulness, going outside, slow down your nervous system. And that's what's working for me, and sharing these videos with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to my channel. See you soon.